A busy offseason, time for some power rankings. Offseason moves edition. Give me your top 5. Brez, we're going to start with you. Who do you have at 5?
Don't hate me, you or Laker Nation, but the Boston Celtics. I thought they did some pretty good things during the offseason. Of course, the big thing, the max deal for Tatum, much deserved. Of course, the Celtics are going to offer that to him. The booze, people are not really happy with me. I understand it completely. Picked up some pretty good support players, Tristan Thompson and Jeff Teague. And I'm okay with them letting Gordon Hayward walk. I mean, he got overpaid big time by Charlotte. A little bit of addition by subtraction. A very good player. You know, he's going to get his 16, 17 points a game, but he doesn't need to be making that much money. So Boston maybe freed up a little money for years to come by letting him walk.
I'll take that contract any day.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, you're number 5.
You don't have it already?
I wish.
My number 5 is the Lakers' first-round opponent, the Portland Trailblazers. Look, they're a small-market team. There's only so many moves they can make, but GM Neil O'Shea deserves a lot of credit for giving Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum some extra pieces. They re-signed Carmelo Anthony, so he's still there. And they added a lot more depth in their front court with Enes Kanter and Robert Covington. Got some wings and Rodney Hood, keeping him, getting Derek Jones Jr. and Harry Giles. I think that O'Shea basically followed the blueprint on how a small market team competes in the NBA. You make a lot of small moves that make a difference when you add the totality of them.
Did you hear him rattling off all those names without hesitation? That's why he is the national writer for USA Today.
He's not local.
Brez, number 4.
Well, this team could have been even better, but a few things happened. Milwaukee Bucks, they're my number 4 team.
Oh.
Okay, I like the Holiday pickup, no doubt about it. They gave up a few picks, but they finally have that guy who can really take some pressure off of Giannis. A couple good little, rotation guys as well. Bobby Portis and Bryn Forbes. He can maybe stick some threes for them. Why are they 4th? Bogdanovich. It was reported that they had a deal in place to get him from Sacramento. He really would have taken pressure off of Giannis, but as it is, still a good offseason for the Bucks.
All right, not bad. You just took your back-to-back MVP and dropped him right down. No big deal. Mark, you're number 4.
Well, I'm going with the Atlanta Hawks, and one of the reasons is they were able to get Bogdanovich.
Yep.
The Atlanta Hawks had a lot of cap room. Travis Schlenk, the GM there, has been very shrewd these last few years with collecting a lot of assets, so they're able to get Bogdanovich. They got Rajon Rondo. He left the Lakers to mentor Trae Young. They got a really good perimeter defender in Chris Dunn. They got a great three-point shooter in Danilo Gallinari. When you add those players up with their young core and Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, I think the Atlanta Hawks could be a playoff team this season.
Hawks did some work this offseason, no doubt about it. Bryce, you're number 3.
Yeah, I thought they did a little more work than Mark did. They're my number 3.
Wow.
The Hawks. I mean, the Hawks, period. The Hawks making big offseason moves. This hasn't happened in a long, long time, maybe since they signed Horford and Paul Millsap in the same year. This is going to be a good Hawks team. Will they get into the playoffs? It's the East. So you're saying there's a chance, for all the reasons Mark said, I like what they did. Gallinari probably overpaid him a little bit, but they do have a proven scorer now with him. And the Rondo deal makes sense for both sides. 2 years, $15 million. Rondo, after a couple years, basically on the vets min with the Lakers, he's going to grab that, and the Hawks will definitely see what he can do for them. It's finally a guy with some experience on that roster. A lot of young guys over there the last couple years.
Experience.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Mark, you're number 3.
I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. They're rebuilding, but they really made a win this offseason, even though they didn't make any free agent signings. And the reason is they hoarded a lot of draft picks. They got 4 first-round picks and 6 second-round picks around the draft and free agency. And so that puts them at a total of 18 first-round picks and 11 second-round picks through 2027. So I feel like in the next few years, they may as well go through 1 through 30 in the entire first round. But they're going to have a lot of good young talent in the next few years because of these moves.
Talk about asking your fan base to be patient. Number 2.
Trust the process in Oklahoma. Here we go.
They adopt that?
Yeah, Portland. I think the Covington deal is one of the most underrated deals during the offseason. I mean, this guy, a very good defender, and Portland has been dying for a good wing defender who not only plays defense, but he can stick 5 threes on you in a game if you're not careful. So kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Cost him a mid-first-round pick this year and a protected first-rounder next year. I say it's worth it. This guy was really good in his short time in Houston. And, he's going to be really good in Portland, too. Now you have 3 proven scorers, plus Nurkic, another good player Portland could be a top 4 team again in the West after fading a little bit this past season.
Number 2 for you, Mark?
I'm going with the team that faced the Lakers in the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat. Kind of like the Lakers, they were able to do 2 things. Keep a lot of their championship roster together, or finals contending roster together, and add some pieces. So they were able to re-sign Goran Dragic. They extended Bam Adebayo. They kept Miles Leonard. Udonis Haslem is in his millionth season right now. And then they got some wings with Avery Bradley and Mo Harkless. So I think with that, they have this championship foundation, but they also have assets in case, hey, someone like Giannis is available in a trade. So you have to put them at number 2.
All right, number 1, best offseason.
Well, I thought the Charlotte team did a really good job. I can tell you know I'm joking, right? The Lakers, obviously. I mean, come on. The Lakers had such little trade capital. You know, they couldn't have traded a first-round pick in the future until 2026, but Rob Pelinka made it happen. He drafted a player, made it part of the deal to send him out and get Schroeder for really Danny Green. I mean, he was a good player, but Schroeder is electric offensively. Of course, the Montrezl Harrell pickup as well. I like what they did. And I don't even know who would be a close second to what the Lakers accomplished over the past couple months.
Mark, are you rolling with the same or you got something different?
I'm going to roll with the same. It's the Lakers. Look, I had to submit predictions for my company, USA Today. I already gave Rob Pelinka the Executive of the Year because of what he did this offseason. Somehow, the defending championship team also won free agency because of what Rob Pelinka did. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You extend LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but I think part of the reason why they did that is they have trust in the organization with the moves they made, where they upgrade the front court, getting Harrell, getting Gasol. You know, they got some good secondary scoring with Dennis Schroeder, some wing depth with Wesley Matthews, keeping KCP. And for sure, the Lakers lost some key pieces with Rondo, with Howard, with Bradley, with JaVale McGee. But I think when you compare the guys that they got to replace them, I think on paper, they're a better team.
All right, you guys see them right there, side by side. Their power rankings. I'm going to have to give the edge here to Mark Medina because Brez decided to roll with the team in green, and I'm not talking about the one that has a deer.
I figured that was going to irritate you. Yeah.
I like your picks, Mark. Bonus question.
Huh?
Who had the better offseason between the two of you?
Well, Mark had to get out of the bubble, so that was pretty laborious on his part. I just got to kick it here in El Segundo with you.
Which means I did not have a great offseason. Kidding. Just kidding. We'll be back to wrap things up when Action Sports Net Lakers returns. Marc Gasol is back with the team who drafted him way back in 2007. The 3-time All-Star won a title in 2019 with the Raptors and also won Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. That same award, LeBron claimed, was taken from him on the Road Trippin' podcast. Mark had a chance to respond to David McMenamin, and he set the record straight.
We can talk over it, with some wine if he wants to. I don't, if anybody's, I believe that trophy is for the Grizzlies. Or that 2000, I think was 13. I think the team that deserved to have that trophy was the Grizzlies. For some reason, they picked me. If anybody could, claim that trophy was Tony Allen. And to my point of view, at the same time, I could also, not that I want to, I care about, but I could say that, hey, I've been told from a first-team All-NBA defensively. I believe I should be there, but I don't, and I don't care. But we can have a good laugh about it if he wants to. If not, I'm sure he can go get it this year too if he wants to.
To be a fly on the wall when LeBron James and Marc Gasol are having a glass of wine talking about that Defensive Player of the Year trophy from 2013. How important was it for the Lakers, though, to add that kind of IQ like Marc Gasol to their roster? Brez?
Yeah, you know what I like about this? This is a guy who can do a lot of things for the Lakers, and not just on the court, but he'll be a good leader off the court. Also got a championship resume, which helps. And the Lakers were, they were kind of losing some centers. They traded JaVale McGee away, in essence, to make room to help get a guy like Gasol. Lost Dwight Howard. And so they needed to kind of replace these guys. Obviously, they got Montrezl Harrell. And by adding Marc Gasol, you now have an element from a 5 that you did not have this past season. Dwight and JaVale, if ever they made a 3, it was because it was towards the end of a quarter and they just threw the ball as far as they could down court and it went in luckily. I mean, that's kind of the type of guys they were over the years as far as 3-point shooting. This guy, though, Marc Gasol can make threes. I think that really is going to help bring that offense out a little bit as far as spreading the defense, too, and maybe get some easy buckets from the 5 position.
Mark?
Yeah, I think Marc Gasol is a championship player in every sense. Obviously, he's at the later end of his career, but he still has the skills that Brez outlined pretty well in terms of his post-up game, his ability to shoot outside shots, be a really good defender, and he's not going to be complaining about playing time, but he has still the intellectual capital of experience and knowing what it takes to win an NBA championship. And as far as off the court, he has a lot of interest, just like his brother Pal does, and I think that it's inevitable that he and LeBron will get together for some wine sessions. But my sense is, even if they might have some disagreements about who should have won the Defensive Player of the Year award, I think those conversations will be jokey. They'll just be trash talking as opposed to actually having a real argument. One
of my favorite things from Marc Gasol so far is when he opened up to reporters talking about how good he is on the defensive end. And it's because he gets to the place on time and on target because he knows that he can't jump high like the rest of them. So he just beats you on the ground. And I thought that was so genius. Yeah. One, to admit it. But 2, like, that's smart. That's genius.
Yeah, Marc Gasol never really known for his vert.
Know your strengths.
Right? Yeah, this is good veteranism by him to know his limits.
Exactly. KYP, he knows himself, that's for sure. Still to come, the Lakers, one of the big winners this offseason, but how do they stack up against the rest of the NBA? Up next, we'll discuss in Rank 'em.